Okay, and this is part 2. So this will be all the patterns that are from DK, worsted, and then Aran bulky and super bulky yarns. And again, if you want to review any of the resources that are free resources online outside of Ravelry, please check out part 1. The first like half of that video is about those resources and those options that are out there. So please give it a look, give it a, run through that before the fingering and sport weight patterns at the latter half of the video. Check it out. And again, any questions, anything, just let me know. And if you're wondering what this video is, please go check out part 1. I explain the purpose of these videos, 9.1 and 9.2, in that first video. So definitely check out the intro to that, because I explained a little bit more of like what I was trying to do on this little series, this little mini series of patterns. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. I hope this is a great resource. And again, please let me know any questions. Please let me know any comments. If you all are looking for specific patterns and you're like, hey, where would you recommend? I'm happy to like give some more options out there as well. So good luck. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Jumping into DK. So starting out right away, we're doing some fun stuff in here. So this is and I'm not going to say this right, but Raniose Christmas hat? I'm sure I butchered that, sorry. By Suvi of Walbeck Wool. This is a DK pattern up to 328 yards. So if you're making the largest size, you'll likely need 2 skeins of DK, but you could definitely do the smaller size, like the child size, with 1 skein. Now, here's the truth. If I'm making this, I'm probably making this for a kid anyway. I don't know any adults that would wear it, just in my life. Not to say that, like, y'all don't, so definitely keep that in mind. But if you do have 1, like, 100-gram skein of DK, you could definitely get a child size out of it. I think this would go really fast, even given the, like, point on it. It is so cute. I love the texture of these. It looks like little wheat pieces or something. I mean, that's so cute. It's so fun. Again, I'm trying to see if they have any kid photos, but it's just adorable. So I think this looks really great. I love the little pom-pom that they include on some of them. They're just so adorable. So this is a paid-for pattern. It's only... It's available in 3 sizes: child, adult medium, and adult large. And of course, if you have only 1 skein, probably could only get the kid size, but I think this would be really cute for a kid who might like to have a little pointy hat. Okay, the next pattern is another small neck thing. This is the Distance Scarf DK version by Olga Putano Designs. This is up to 203 yards, so you would be able to get both sizes, or all 3 sizes actually, with 1 skein of DK. So she has a few different shown in here. So here's the photo. So she's got one on the left that's green. That's actually the fingering weight version. The one on the right in this like light pinkish cream color is the DK version. So she does have 2 versions. This is for the DK, and she has multiple sizes, I think, in the same DK pattern. And honestly, like, this has been on my list of things to want to make for a long time. I haven't had the chance to like fully get into it yet, but I have swatched for it, and I'm really excited to make this when I finally have an opportunity, because it's so pretty. I love the texture and the cables and the way they sort of look like they're like interlocking. I think it's so beautiful. So I would love to make the fingering and the DK version, but whenever you have time, I guess. But as a gift, it's definitely a beautiful option as well. It's a paid-for pattern, but it is, I think it's a great opportunity to make some gifts for friends. Another neck item. So this is the Shore Ripples by Greta Menson. She says it's anywhere from 213 to 257 yards. So I was a little on the fence about this, because I was like, can you really get this size of a DK pattern in that yardage? But I think what's happening is that because seems to be a pretty open gauge with some lace in it, I think that's how we're getting the sort of the size she's getting of this. So that's my guess. So it looks like a pretty decent size. It's pretty long given how wide it gets. So for one skein of DK, like that's pretty good. So I thought this was really pretty. I think this is such a beautiful texture and a great opportunity to showcase like a really beautiful yarn that's maybe a solid color or a semi-solid. I just thought this was cool. And the way she has it modeled and like photographed, I think you could even do it like reversible, right? Like you could wear either side facing out because it's that pretty. So I thought this was great. I thought this would be like for somebody in your life who's maybe into more classic stuff, more of a classic look, they might enjoy something like this. So yeah, short ripples, very pretty. Okay, this one I thought was cute, like a cute little notion bag. This is called the Bean Bag Pouch by Infinite Knits. DK weight yarn up to 109 yards. So this is just a cute little zipper bag. You would obviously need to install the zipper, so there's a little extra work there, but I thought this would be cute if you have people in your life who maybe they craft, maybe they like to carry around like small little things and they constantly need a bag to put it in. Maybe you want to make it for yourself, for your own notions. So this was cute. I thought this was really adorable. It is a paid for pattern, but again, it only requires up to 109 yards. So this is one of those that I think you could get multiples out of one skein of yarn. So definitely something to look at if you wanted to make somebody like a set of bags, or you know, if you had a couple skeins of yarn, you could like stripe it and make it for multiple people. But I thought that was really a cute little option. So the next one is another bag. This is actually the Dumpling Bag by Jeannie Lee. This is from Purl Soho, so it is a free pattern. Now this is one of the ones where you click on this link and it's going to take you to the Purl Soho website. So it's not going to be a Ravelry download, but it's still free. It's DK and it's up to 165 yards. So this is a beautiful little bag. It's very simple. They call it the dumpling bag because you kind of push the handles through each other to sort of cinch it up so it looks like a little dumpling. But it's super simple. It's like 2 square panels with some handles stitched on or knit on. Nothing super complicated about it. Would be very fast to knit, and could be a really nice, you know, little project bag for somebody, or it could be for, you know, for somebody in your life who needs smaller bags to put into their luggage to carry stuff around, you know, any of those things, and it's free. So great opportunity there. And then this one, this is called the Yo-Yo Pan Protectors by Lisa Honshell. This is a crochet pattern, and it is DK weight. It's up to 126 yards if you're doing the large, I would assume. So this I thought was really fun. And I don't know about you, but like I constantly need these protectors in my pans or they get all scratched and dinged up. I also use some of these for like bowls, like if I have stacking glass bowls or stacking ceramic bowls, I'll use something like this as well for my bowls, because I really hate when the glass or the ceramic like scrapes against each other. So this could be an opportunity to make that for pans, to use it for bowls. And from what I can tell, it looks like there's a bunch of little pieces made. So this is definitely something you could make like over the course of you know, several days or weeks or whatever. You could just be constantly making these little pieces. Could be a good scrap buster if you were trying to do, if you didn't mind it being multicolored, or if you were trying to use up scraps. Like, I think there's a lot of ways you could make this pattern and utilize it. So it's really cool design, really cool option, and I think the way that the little pieces are connected allows it to be very flexible for different size pans and stuff like that. So, you know, definitely something to look at. And it's a free Ravelry download. There you go. There you go. Now, since we're already talking about pan protectors, I found another one on here that I was like, this is adorable. This one is the Flower Power Pan Protectors by Tanya Bush. This one is not free. So if you wanted something that's a little different, a little more, like a little more designy, I guess you could say, this goes up to 52 yards, and it is a paid for pattern. So this one is not free, But this one does give you more sizes. So this gives you a much smaller one, sort of two mediums, and then a very large one. So this definitely gives you a little more options with it. If you're stocking, again, like if you were stocking bowls, if you were stocking smaller pans. So that's something to think about if you wanted something. Plus, I do think these are a little bit of a different vibe. They're kind of like, I think, mid-century modern vibe versus the other ones were a little more of like a classical Christmas, or like, yeah, kind of like a Christmas vibe or a holiday vibe. So just something to keep in mind depending on who you're gifting it for and who you're trying to make it for. But all in all, I thought these were really cool. These are really pretty. And I thought, pan protectors are great. Love that. Okay, so this is another little bag. I found a lot of bags and home decor items in the DK. I thought that was fun because we hadn't seen a lot of that up to this point. So this is the Pearl Pouch by Tori Yu. This is a fingering and a fingering to get a DK. Again, I think you could use just a DK and be fine. It goes up to 480 yards, so one skein of DK would not be enough for like the large, but you could potentially get away with the small or the medium in this. And again, I think it's probably easy to modify it a little bit for the yardage that you have. You just wouldn't make this as tall. If you were limited on yardage, you would just maybe make it a little more squat. You could definitely make the smallest one, and then if you did want to make the bigger one, you could potentially stripe it or, use some scraps or something with your skein to help make the size that you need and get you to your yardage. So just some ideas, some options if you were trying to make the biggest one. But I thought these were super cute. I think that you could use like ribbon for the little pull strings. You could make an I-cord, or you could crochet like a cord or something like that. You could even use like the cotton cords that are out there that you can get at most craft stores. So yeah, it is a paid for pattern, but I thought it was really cute and a really nice option for somebody who might need like extra storage. So yeah. Okay. Now, these are another pair of fingerless mitts. These are the Filled Mittens by Camilla Vad. This is DK up to 197 yards. These are only one size. You don't have as much range on the size, but I love the texture. This kind of harkens back to the texture that we saw on that pointed hat at the beginning of the DK. I think this texture is beautiful. So you could potentially make that hat for somebody and then also make them a set of mitts to match, because they do. So that is really beautiful. I love how she created this little, like, these little wheat looking pieces on the thumb, around the thumb gusset. They kind of frame the thumb on either side. So yeah, I just thought these were so pretty, and they're very simple, but like just really beautiful, very unique, not something you see a lot. So I thought these were really nice. They're obviously a paid for pattern, but candidly, like, these are so pretty. I have no problem paying for these. They're so cute. So yeah, a good opportunity. You could use some really nice yarn for this. She uses Cardiff cashmere, which is beautiful, so that's a thing, but definitely a good option. Okay, next we're jumping into a hat. So this is the Deep Winter Hat by Wool & Pine. This is up to 220 yards. So again, you should be able to get a full, the largest size hat with a DK, 100 gram skein of DK. So I love this pattern. I think this is beautiful. It's got these beautiful cables on it. It's got some like texture stitches. In general, it's just like a cool, classic looking hat. I think a lot of people see these types of hats and think like, oh man, I wish I could wear something like that. And then, it's got all these beautiful decreases at the top as well. So I love the intertwining cables that they create on here. That kind of like, there's like three sets of cables, and then they like mix them into two as they work through the decreases to the crown, like all of that. It's so detailed and so pretty. So yeah, definitely Definitely one that I think is worth it. It is a paid for pattern, but Wool and Pine is usually really good with their discounts. So they have, like, if you add 3 or more, you get a 20% off discount for with no code needed. So, you know, they're really generous on their patterns. Okay, moving into some socks. Typically we don't see socks in the DK range, although I think a thick sock in the winter is really nice. So these are called the Thick Mist socks by Summer Lee. This is up to 636 yards for like an extra large or 2X size sock. But you know, if you're kind of in the mid range or in the small sizes, I think you could probably get away with one skein. And then if you also like make them a little bit shorter on the cuff, that's another option to really stretch your yarn. You could also use some stash to do the cuffs and the toes. So this is a good way to either like stash bust, use some scraps up, or modify it a little bit to get like one full skein if you're, you know, depending on what size you're making. So yeah, I thought these were really, really cute. She obviously uses a lot of different scraps and pieces for these different socks, but I thought that like they're kind of basic, they're simple, but they're still really cute. They have a simple cable motif on them, and you know, nothing super fancy, but a great opportunity to make some very quick socks. So yeah, this says fingering and fingering held together, but again, I think you could use a DK and just adjust your needle size to get the right gauge. Okay, now the next one is another neck item. It's the Coral Reef Scarf by Lisa Hands. This is DK up, starting at 240 yards. So this is definitely on the higher end of the yardage for the smallest size. Now again, this is one where it looks like you increase to the center and then you decrease. So you could modify it a little bit if you needed to. If your yardage was getting close, you could certainly just not increase as much as the pattern calls for. Or if you have more than one skein, you could obviously make the bigger size, but this is actually the smaller size that's shown or called out for in the pattern. I thought this was just a really cool, simple, like ribbed and cabled pattern. Again, created a little more of an effect than just a simple garter or just, you know, some of those other ones, but really fun. So that is the Coral Reef Scarf. I think also it could be a good opportunity. Again, they're using Cardiff cashmere, so I think it could be a good opportunity to use some really nice yarn. Okay, on to some full mittens, not the fingerless mitts. These are the Olay mittens by Suzanne Mueller. These are in DK up to 241 yards. So again, you're on the upper end when you get to the largest size, but you could also like reduce the length of the cuff if you felt like you weren't going to have enough yardage, but I think probably you'd be fine, but depending on your yarn. So these are super cute, simple ribbed mitten, but I really liked the way she did the thumb gusset. I think this is really pretty. It's so cool. They're really like, they look very chunky. Actually, I wonder if this is, let me just see, because maybe it's not ribbed, maybe it's brioche. This is in German. Well, I don't speak German, so I don't know what it is. It says the pattern is available in English though. So like, oh yeah, brioche, right here, brioche tuck. So I lied. These are actually brioche, not even ribbed, which is even better in my opinion. I love brioche. It's so squishy. These would be so nice. Ooh, these are really nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this on my list of things because I might want to make these. It is a paid for pattern. It's not super expensive though, and it does say it's available in English. So I think you would just need to make sure you click the right one. Don't buy the German if you don't speak German. Anyway, super cute. Okay. The next on the list is the Turtle Dove Shawl by Sari Nordlund. I have actually talked about this one on the channel before, and talked about the a specific yarn that I had seen in a shop that had made this. It's up to 262 yards, so you would need a pretty chunky skein of DK to get it to that size. But again, if you're looking at this, you know, I see like this little piece down here at the bottom. You could probably omit some of that. Maybe, you know, you modify it a little bit so you don't have as many increases, and that should get you to the yardage that you need probably. So just little tweaks like that, that you can kind of stretch that yardage on a DK skein. But in general, I think you could use one skein to get the full shawl. The one that I was using was Camellia Fiber Co. Their Sylvan DK. That was the one I saw in the shop, and they used just one skein for this same shawl. So I know that it's possible somewhere. Just got to find the right yarn. Okay, this next one is called Frida by Emil Lewis. This is DK up to 77 yards, and it is a free Ravelry download. This is an adorable little headband. I think it's very simple, very, you know, straightforward, nothing super fancy, but it's free, and it's a great option for somebody if you need something quick, if you're doing a gift exchange, if you want to make multiples. Like, this is a great option as well. Again, it's free, you know, how can you go wrong? It's low yardage, you can make several out of one skein, just, you know, good all around. Okay. This is called the Grow Hat by Fiber Tales. As you can see, we've got a theme going on in the DK because we've got the same motif here on this hat. Now, thinking about the hat that we looked at earlier with the point, which was really fun and really cool, let's say you wanted to make something similar but without the big point on the end for an adult, right? And I'm not saying you can't make the pointed one for an adult. If that's what they want, like, go for it. More power to them. But if you feel like maybe they don't want to have a pointy hat, this is a good alternative. So this is the Grow Hat, like I mentioned, grow as in like, you know, growing, I think. And it's got the same beautiful motif that we've seen on the other ones. This is up to 219 yards, so this is obviously more in the DK 100 gram skein range. That's more typical. Now again, this is a paid for pattern, and it is only one size. So you are a little bit limited. You're not going to have the opportunity to make it in multiple sizes. But, you know, I think this is a really beautiful hat that you could have for somebody if you wanted to make them a set with the hat and the mittens. Or if you wanted to make one, like matching hats for, like, you know, mom and daughter, mom and son, whatever. You know, there's a couple different options on this DK list that would be really fun. So, okay, the last one on the DK is the Poet Scarf by Sari Nordlund. She calls this a lace and fingering to get to a DK, but again, I think you could just use your DK skein. This is up to 246 yards, so you would again need to make sure that your DK skein is big enough. And then this is like a really cool little like neck thing with some lace work, some texture. She's got like the seed stitch in between these little lace panels, little textured diamonds. It's really pretty. It looks very delicate and soft. I think that it's meant to be evocative of like a necktie kind of kerchief thing as well. She's also got it shown as something you could use in your hair, so that's another option. Really pretty. I think it's really cute. So that's another option. Sari does have several DK like shawlette things, so she's a good one to look at if you're interested in stuff like that. Okay, so that is through the DK. Let's jump back to the bundles page and we'll jump into some worsted. Okay, jumping into worsted. Thanks for hanging in, friends. So starting off, we are going to start right into some home decor items. So these are the pan protectors by Ashley Schumacher. So again, this is a crochet project, and it is, I believe it's available to pay on Ravelry, but she does say that there's a free version also available. I think you probably have to go to like a blog or something for it. So just be aware of that. But you know, I definitely think if you're looking for a free pattern and something straightforward and like a worsted weight yarn, it's a good option. And we looked at a couple of these in the DK weight yarn. You could maybe like sub in a worsted weight for those other patterns, especially the one that was free, and potentially just have like a slightly larger version if that's what you wanted to do. But I thought these were really fun because these were a bit more sturdy. So if you had heavier pans, if you were looking at more like cast iron or something, these could be a bit better for that. They seem a little thicker. The nice thing too is there's so many yarns out there that come in a worsted weight that this could be a good option to stick with something in that same gauge. So yeah, pan protectors, again, there's a free version available that you track down via a website. Okay, the next one is this cute little hat. It's the Best Beret by James N. Watts. This is up to 210 yards, so should get you in that 100-gram skein of worsted, depending on your yarn. But this I thought was just so cute. Now, I cannot rock a beret. I've tried. I'm not that cool. But there are so many people out there who can. So, you know, you may know someone that would be great and could make this look amazing as these photos. And, you know, if they can, I highly recommend, because who doesn't deserve a beautiful little beret? I mean, honestly. So these are so cute. I think they're adorable. It's not a ton of yardage, and getting a whole hat out of one skein of worsted is pretty impressive. So the next one are these Granny Rocco bags by Davina Rocco. So these are also crochet. They are up to 490 yards if you do the largest size, but the smallest one starts at 90. So there's going to be several sizes in here, from the extra small up through the mid-range sizes, that you could absolutely do with one skein of 100-gram worsted weight. If you have larger skeins of worsted weight, like if you're using, like let's say you're using a more commercial version yarn or something like that, I'm sure you could get up to the larger sizes. So this is really cute. It's like a granny square little tote bag. I love this photo where they kind of indicate all the different sizes you can make. Again, who doesn't need a bag, right? Like, we all have to buy groceries. We all have to get stuff and carry stuff. So yeah, I love this. It's so cute. So yeah, these are all options. And again, I don't think you need it to be multicolored. If you wanted to just make it a solid color to use one skein, then absolutely you can do that. So it is a paid for pattern, but definitely a good option for people out there who are looking to create multiple gifts. The next one is a set of mittens. This is called the Albira by Audrey Borrego. This is worsted weight up to 197 yards. It looks like it's one size. And, you know, the nice thing about this that I thought was really interesting, I love this little cable pattern, but the thing that was my favorite part was the fact that they are the kind that you can flip the top off. So you can flip the little, what's it called? This little thingy. I don't know. But anyway, you can take this off, you can flip it off and expose your fingers and let your fingers be free. I think that's adorable and absolutely beneficial when you're making mittens. So I loved that. And the fact that it's a free Ravelry download, I was so impressed by that. I was like, wow, for you to just be willing to put that out there is amazing. So yeah, so that is a beautiful little pattern. I think, you know, it's only one size, but it's also free. So like, how much can you complain about it, right? And it's worsted weight. So again, a lot of great worsted yarns out there. The next one is a hat. So this is another woolen pine hat called the Desert Rose. Again, I love how they decrease their hats. I mean, they have all these like cables going on, and then they start to integrate cables into this diamond shape that then leads into the decreases. I mean, they're just so creative in the way they do that, and they make it so intentional as part of the patterning of the hat. So really pretty hat. I think it's gorgeous. This is up to 200 yards, so again, should be fine within that 100 gram worsted weight yarn, depending on your yarn, but typically 200 yards is safe. It is a paid for pattern, like I mentioned. Wool and Pine has great deals though, so if you get like several of their patterns, you can get a discount. So something to keep in mind if you're looking for a few different patterns, I would check theirs because they do have these great discounts. So this one does have multiple sizes as well. Okay, the next one is this Epicea headband by Mod C. This is available for free. There's a link to the pattern, so it's not on Ravelry, but it is available on their website somewhere for free. I think this is super cute too. It's got a lot of texture. It's a very simple headband. Worsted weight yarn up to 109 yards, so really easy to get this out of one skein. You might, depending on your skein, even be able to get two. So yeah, I thought this was really pretty. Again, it looks like it's one size, but it is for free, you know, so can't be too picky, I guess, for free. Okay, the next one on here is the Spez scarf by Sari Nordlund. I mentioned this, that she has a lot of these like small neck things. This one's really pretty. It's got sort of this fan lace motif with a couple of garter stitch ridges. Pretty delicate little neck thing, and it's worsted weight up to 170 yards, so pretty easy to get that with one 100 gram skein. And you know, I think it's really cute that it's just kind of straightforward, and you can tell that it's meant to be for one skein of worsted. So yeah, I think that's a really nice one. It is a paid for pattern. Yeah, really cute. Okay, another neck thing, this is called Percussion by Mariah Risciuto. This is worsted weight up to 219 yards, so you should be good with one skein depending on your skein. This is very simple. I thought this was like a quick neck thing. If you're going for something pretty straightforward and you want to make it fast, then this is a quick one because it's in garter stitch. The other nice thing about this is it's available for free. It's a free Ravelry download, so if you are trying to make something like for a work gift knit, or if you were looking for something for you know, like a white elephant gift, or I don't know, you know, something like that, this is a good option because it's free and it's, you know, one skein of yarn. Okay, another hat. This is called the Gweden hat by Solinqualarar. Let's hope I said that right. So they say this is a sport and a lace for a worsted, but I think you could just sub in a worsted. Typically, I just sub in whatever it's supposed to be once those yarns are held together. This is up to 219 yards for the largest size, so you could easily get the adult small and the child size within one skein. This is beautiful. I love the texture on this. It's like a thick cabled hat. I think it's like very classic looking. I think that there's a lot of people this would appeal to, especially in colder climates, because it's a thicker worsted weight yarn. And the yarns that she kind of highlights in the photos and stuff are like Gilead and Ulysses. Ulysses is the sport weight yarn. It is so incredibly bouncy and amazing. Gilead is also so incredible. I do actually really like both of those yarns a lot, so I love that they're both like featured in this pattern because they're so nice. But anyway, enough about that. The point of this is that it's a beautiful classic pattern, one skein of worsted, and it is available for free. So again, another hat pattern that you could potentially use for free to make gifts for friends, family, or yourself. Okay. This is the Christmas Star Ornament by Claire M. As we're talking about holiday gifts, I thought this would be a good one to feature in here. It's up to 40 yards, so obviously not a ton of yardage. It is a paid for pattern, but they say here that it's also available for free with the info in the notes. Again, I'm sure you have to like go to a website somewhere, but I just, you know, this is so cute. It's a crochet pattern, not knit, but it is crochet. And I think this is really a darling little thing. You could make special ornaments for people for the season. You could make several and make like a garland. I mean, you could kind of sky's the limit with these. I think they're so pretty. So I definitely think this has some potential. It's listed as Aran weight yarn, but I think you could easily sub in worsted for something like this. I mean, you know, gauge is not super important on these types of things. So that is that cute little thing. The next one is this necktie in seed stitch by Kristen McDonald. This is worsted weight up to 120 yards. Now, I've always thought these were kind of fun, these little ties. They're very straightforward and simple, and probably not for every person out there, but I definitely think they're cute. You know, they just have a certain vibe to them. And this one is also, you can also track it down for free. So if that's something you're looking for, again, if you were doing like a holiday gift knit, or if you had someone in your life who you know would love a knit scarf, then this is a great opportunity to snag something for free, a pattern, and then you can use like some really cool yarn to create that for them. So up to 120 yards, you could potentially even make them two, or make two for two separate people. You know, sky's the limit. Okay, this next one is back to sort of the neck garments. So this is called Kaveri by Megan Gonzalez, and this is a worsted weight cowl up to 205 yards. I would say that this is the type of thing that you could use some beautiful variegated yarns, because it's really going to highlight that effect. Obviously, you want to make sure that you get the circumference right. I think the height can be adjustable, so if you don't make it the full height, that's probably okay if you run out of yardage or something, but I think you definitely want to make sure you can at least get the circumference. So yeah, this is really beautiful. It's just very simple. It's got this like simple cable texture, like ribbing and then cables that kind of run across to create that texture. So really pretty piece. It is a paid for pattern, but again, I think it's a really like classic piece that you could make several for folks and utilize that pattern over and over again. Okay, so this is called the Lenan Worsted by All Knit Up Designs. This is another neck cowl. This is up to 220 yards, so 200 to 220. I think again you could adjust the height of it, so you definitely want to get the circumference right, but I think if you needed to like omit a couple of these pattern repeats to make it a little bit shorter, if you're worried about running out of yarn, this is a great opportunity for something like that. Again, really pretty. It's got simple texture, so I think you could use like a pretty cool yarn. They obviously use like a pretty nice variegated yarn on this, and you can still see a lot of the texture. So yeah, this could be a good option. It is a pay for pattern, but they do have something on here that says like you can pay what works scale. So if you felt like that was something you needed, that is available. Okay, moving on. This is the Paz scarf. It is by MYK Knits, and it is worsted weight up to 112 yards. So again, you could potentially even make more than one out of one skein of yarn. So this is a really cute little, like, I don't know if I would call this like a headband or like a head scarf. I don't really know, because most of these are modeled on their head. So I do think that the intention is you kind of wear it around your head, sort of like almost like earmuff type thing. I don't know, it's super cute. I feel like there's definitely a niche of people out there who would love something like this, especially if you live in a warmer climate where you might want to have your head covered for like really severe winds or really severe weather. So I thought this was really pretty and really cute. It is a paid for pattern, and it is available in child size and adult. So you could probably make the child size and the adult size with one skein of yarn. So just something to think about. Okay, this next one is called the Berry Scarf by Young Sun, This is a worsted weight pattern up to 200 yards. So they have two sizes, kids and adults. You could use one skein for either the kid side or the adult size. This is another cute little neck kerchief thing. I thought this was really fun because it's definitely intended to be worn like snug up against your neck. So there's no question on like what size it needs to be. And I just thought this was like a fun texture. I love the little baubles. I love the way it looks on the neck as it crisscrosses with these big like fan edges. It's just super cute. I thought that was really fun. So you could obviously use like some really cool yarns for this. And I think that like this could be another really good opportunity to bring in like a really nice, something very soft, very luscious. This could be a good opportunity for that. So the wild thing is it is a free Ravelry download. So this beautiful little scarf, bow tie looking thing is free to make. So one of those things that, shouldn't be free, but it is. So good opportunity. All right. This next one, we have all heard about these, I'm sure, but if you haven't, The Emotional Support Chicken by Annette Corsino. These are a big hit right now. I know that a lot of people have made these. A lot of people want to make these. It's a good opportunity to use up some worsted weight yarn. Excuse me, sorry, I was yawning. So it's a good opportunity to use up some worsted weight yarn. And this is up to 250 yards. So depending on how big you make your chicken, you may need some scrap pieces or some extra worsted weight yarn for like the beak or the little red pieces on their face or something like that. So something to keep in mind. But you could, I think, make at least the smaller size with one skein of yarn. This is a paid for pattern. It's a big deal. A lot of people are making them. And I haven't heard anybody who's made them and been mad about it. Okay, this next one is for our little furry friends. This is the Edinburgh Seamless Dog Sweater by Calico Radio Knits. Now, this one, you would be a little bit limited on the sizing. I'm sure you could easily make like the first 3 sizes with one skein. At least the first 2, but probably the first 3. I think it would just depend on the size of your dog or the animal that you're making this for. But, if they are smaller, then easily one skein would be plenty. If you have multiple skeins or if you have a larger skein of worsted weight yarn, you could make the bigger sizes. But I just think this is adorable. This is such a cute little pattern, especially for dogs that maybe don't have as much fur and they get cold. Like, this is a nice way to help them stay warm. Again, this is crazy. It's a free Ravelry download. So on top of all of that, it's also free. So I think that's these people are so generous to just put this stuff out there for free. Okay, this is a really straightforward arched gusset mitten by Pearl Soho. Again, this is available for free. If you go to their website, you can get the pattern. They say that they use their knitting yarn DK, but they listed as worsted. So I'm not entirely sure which would be the best option. I would highly recommend gauge swatching, but they go up to 205 yards for the largest size. So I liked that this was an option that you could potentially use for the larger sizes. I know some of the other patterns we've seen have been like right on the cusp of not working out. So this is definitely one that I think if you were making it in a worsted, that you could definitely get the right any range of sizes with one skein. So these are really pretty. Again, I like the way they do this like arched piece at the thumb gusset. I think it's really cute. It just makes it, makes it more than just a mitten. It kind of gives it a little bit of variety on it. So I think that's really fun. Okay. Going back to some home decor items, these are the double thick pot holders by Daniela Taylor. This is also a Pearl Soho pattern, so it is free. This is up to 159 yards of worsted weight yarn. Now, these I think are great. You could use them as a pot holder. I think that you could probably even use them as a washcloth, although they would take a long time to dry because they're double thick. But I think these are really nice. These are really cool, like little housewarming gift, or for the holidays if you wanted to make somebody a set of these. You could probably also, like, if you had multiple skeins of yarn and you wanted to make multiple colors, you could, but you could definitely make them, you know, one of these with one skein of yarn. So just something to think about. It's free, so that's a great opportunity as well to kind of use up some stash or use up some yarn. Okay, jumping back to some toys, this is a crochet version of a little teddy bear. It's called In the Round Teddy Bear by Cindy, Recycle Cindy. This is up to 90 yards of worsted weight yarn, and like I said, it is crochet. So this is a really cute option if you have somebody who would like a stuffy, but you know, maybe they're not looking for anything complicated. Maybe they want something very like simple and straightforward. I think this is adorable. You could also go back to that Labubu pattern and you could like knit a little sweater after you make the bear. So that's another thing to consider. You could mishmash patterns together. And the nice thing about this one is available for free. So while you're paying for the other sweater pattern potentially, or some kind of pattern for doll clothes, this one's free. So at least you get this one, you know, to start for free. And again, it's only up to 90 yards. So if you have a whole skein of worsted weight, you could get at least 2 bears out of it. And if you have a larger worsted weight skein, then you could get several. So you could make, you know, several of these little bears for all the people in your life who would love a little bear. Okay. The last one on our worsted stretch is called the Wheat Stitch Ear Warmer by Brianna K Designs. This is also a crochet pattern, and this uses up to 155 yards. There's multiple sizes, so she goes anywhere from newborn to a large. This is a paid for pattern, but she does say that she has it available for free. So if you follow her whatever notes to get the free pattern, then obviously you could get it for free. It looks pretty straightforward, like you sort of crochet like a strip, and then I think the cool little knot motif happens with the way you seam it together, like seam the ends together. So obviously this is something you could make it in multiple colors. You could make it in different textures. You could put in some mohair. You could, you know, sky's the limit on this as well. So it's crochet, so you could also adjust the length on it to make bigger or smaller sizes. She obviously has multiple sizes included. So yeah, I think this one is a really versatile pattern, and it's a great one for making multiple gifts. If you have multiple people that you're trying to get gifts out for, I think it'd be a quick one. So yeah, Wheat Stitch Ear Warmer, really cute, really pretty. Okay, that is it for worsted. So we're going to jump back here. We've only got one left. Thanks for hanging in. We are going to jump into the Aran Chunky Super Bulky. All right. Jumping in here, just a quick note. I have found in my experience that Aran, Chunky, Super Bulky a lot of times get interchanged. Like Aran and Chunky get interchanged. Chunky and Super Bulky get interchanged. You know, I don't know. It just feels like these could all kind of be in their same group. And I didn't find as many patterns where you only needed one ball for these types of yarn. So because of that, I kind of threw them all into one bundle together. So as we go through these, I'll make sure to clarify like which pattern is which, just so that you have it for reference. And then again, feel free to come into the bundle, come check it out, and all of these are linked in that bundle. Okay, so starting out, this is a super bulky pattern. This is called the Puffy Heart Basket 099 by Simply Made by Aran. This is super bulky, up to 94 yards. So typically, if you're using like a woolly stick and quick, which is what she has recommended, I think you would probably be able to do it with one ball of yarn. So she has a couple different like sizes and options in here. This is a crochet pattern. It's super cute. I love the way she used several colors though. So if you do have multiple colors, then like you could certainly do that as well. But it's a crochet pattern. It is a paid for pattern. This is another pattern that says it's also available for free. So the information in the notes, if you come down here, I think that you can figure out how to get the free pattern. Yeah, I don't know exactly how, but anyway, I would say just come through here and read through it if that's something you're interested in. But she also has a version in here that looks like it's got like little coasters and stuff. So I think in general, like if you go into her Ravelry space, she probably has several items in here that would be cute. But I thought these little these little baskets were super cute. I mean, this is like a great way to catch like your keys at the end of the day, or if you collect coins still, which some people do, something you could do, or if you had like watches or jewelry or stuff like that. Like this is a great way to just kind of like contain all of that. So okay, this hat is called the Soft Kitty Cat Ears Hat by Patternary. This is an Aran weight pattern, so this is up to 150 yards for the largest size, but it starts at 60. If you're using an Aran weight, I think probably 150 you could get away with, if it's a true Aran weight yarn. This one is super adorable. I think this is so cute. They show the ears with a contrast color. I don't think you have to have that. I think like here's one that doesn't have it. I think if you wanted to make it with one skein, you absolutely could, and it would still get the effect. It's still adorable. And if you have a little bit of scrap yarn and you want to throw it on the ears, then it does change the look. This one has bows. I mean, they're so cute. So yeah, this is a cute little hat pattern for a little baby in your life. They do have them up to teen and adult sizes, but you would probably need a little more yarn potentially, depending on your skein. It is a paid for pattern, but they say that they do have flat and in the round versions included, so that's cool. I think that's pretty impressive actually. So yeah, this is super cute. I think this is so adorable. Good opportunity to use up some Aran weight yarn. Okay, and this is called the Circle Leaf Water Bottle Holder by Brianna K Designs. Now, I've shown a couple of her patterns because she's actually had several really interesting things. This is a crochet pattern up to 125 yards of Aran weight yarn. The smaller size is 115. We already saw one in a different weight yarn, but I thought this was nice if you had like, if you wanted to hold a couple yarns together, or if you had like a skein of DK or Sport or something and you wanted to hold two strands together, you could probably get up to the gauge that you needed to for this, or you could use Aran weight yarn. I think this is like a really fun pattern, and again, I feel like everybody nowadays has a water bottle all the time, so it's definitely a nice thing to have available. Again, she says there's info in the notes about how to get it for free. Otherwise, it is a paid for pattern. And I don't know. I just feel like if you're looking for gifts for people, these are great. These are so great to have, one less thing to have to carry in your hands. Okay, this is Broceliande by Audrey Borrego. This is also Aran weight. This is up to 87 yards, so easily within one skein of yarn. I actually think you could also probably get away with a chunky in this. You would just need to adjust your needle size a little bit, but I think this is so pretty. This is another one of those headbands that like kind of twist in the middle. It has a lot of like really cool texture, a great way to showcase some beautiful yarns. So I really like it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's so pretty. And then this one is actually available as a free Ravelry download. So kind of amazing. Again, like so impressive. There's multiple sizes. Yeah, I don't know. I can't believe they give this stuff away for free. It's so pretty. Okay, so the next one is also more of like a home decor type of thing. I don't know about y'all, but I hate condensation. Like, stresses me out. So this little wheat stitch pumpkin cup cozy, I thought this was so cute. Again, we're back to Brianna K Designs, a crochet pattern in an Aran stitch, or I'm sorry, Aran weight yarn. This is so cute. I love that she puts on like the twine and the little leaf. Again, you could omit that. You don't necessarily have to include that, and you don't have to do the contrast hearts if you don't want to. She shows it around like coffee cups, but I think you could also use this, you know, if you have like a water bottle, like a thin water bottle or something. I think this is very versatile, and you could absolutely make it for a lot of different things. It looks like it's crocheted flat and then you connect it, I believe. That's what it seems like. So I think it's also probably pretty customizable. It's only up to 70 yards of Aran weight yarn, so it's definitely a lot of mileage for your yarn. Again, paid for pattern. She talks about opportunity to get it for free. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's really cute. She has it in the like burnt sienna color, which kind of gives that pumpkin vibe. But I think you could make it in any color and it would still be a gift, but it doesn't necessarily have to feel like fall. Okay. This is another crochet pattern. This is called the Stella Twist Headband by Kinga Erdem. So this is up to 90 yards of Aran weight yarn. Again, another headband where you kind of knit flat and then you attach them with a twist. So I think these are adorable. I love the texture on this. It's got a really cool effect. And I think it could be an opportunity to use up quite a bit of your Aran weight yarn. I do think if you needed to make it larger or smaller, you could adjust it because of how you crochet it in the flat. And then another amazing thing is it's free. So this is also another free pattern. So I did find that as we got into these larger weight yarns, like the heavier weight yarns, there was a lot more patterns that came out for free. Maybe because trying to use one skein at this weight of yarn tends to be difficult. So maybe, I don't know, maybe people just felt like, oh, this is so simple that I don't want to charge for it. I don't know. Okay, moving into a bulky weight pattern. This is the Express Yourself Beanie by Peter Brilliant. This one I thought was so cool. It's obviously like a pretty thick, bulky hat, but I love the way they did the cabling. Instead of just being like a stockinette cable, they have texture on one of the legs of the cable, so you see quite a bit of texture on this. I think that is really neat. I think it's really fun. You lose some of it on this variegated yarn, but I think if you had like a little bit more of a solid yarn, you get a lot of that texture popping through. Like especially this white one is really pretty. So yeah, I thought this was a really unique take on a cabled hat. Really fun. Cool way to show off some texture. Like this just pops. It's so pretty. So yeah, that is the Express Yourself Beanie. It is a paid for pattern, but the pattern also includes, but he says here that this pattern is also included in the Express Yourself Beanie, Cowl, and Headband collection. So if you wanted to get all of those for the price of one, you could click this link and it would take you to that. So that's an option if it's something you're looking for. If you're trying to find a set or something, definitely take a look. Okay, another hat. This is called the Fox Trail Hat and Mittens. So this is by Pearl Soho, so this is available for free. This is a bulky weight pattern. Now, the yardage shown, I believe, is dependent on if you do just one or the other or both. So just keep that in mind when you get to the website. Definitely double check the yardage. You could absolutely make like the baby size, but you know, depending on if you're trying to make the hat and the mittens, you'll likely need more yarn for any of the larger sizes. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you double check that. But yeah, I just thought this is a fun cable. These are like big, thick, chunky cables. I like that they're not necessarily crossing each other. They're more creating these like diamond shapes that happen across the mittens and the hat. So I thought this was really fun. I just love the yarn that's used for this too. I think it's really cool in this sort of like textured tweedy looking yarn. So that could be a good opportunity to use a fun yarn that maybe you don't have a lot of. So again, this is a bulky weight pattern. It's free. It's from Pearl Soho. Okay. Another hat, this is called the Braided Hearts Beanie. This is by Jill DeMarco. So this is a knit pattern in a super bulky weight yarn up to 80 yards. So in theory, you should be able to get that with one ball or skein of super bulky typically. Now, I really like the way this looks. I can't tell if it's brioche or not. It doesn't say. So I don't think it is brioche, just based on what it looks like when she's wearing it. I think it's some kind of like ribbed pattern or something. But I just think it is really cool. It's got like a really thick, chunky texture. She obviously has multiple sizes. Yeah, just adorable. Really pretty, really cute. It is a bigger hat, so just keep that in mind. Like, this is going to be very heavyweight. So whoever you're making it for in a super bulky yarn, it's going to be very warm. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I just think this is really fun. This is a cool little pattern, a great way to showcase some yarns. Fun style. And, you know, it is a paid for pattern, but it's got several sizes. And I think that also is like really nice that they're including so many sizes for you in one pattern. Okay. Now, kind of on the train of the emotional support chicken, this is another one, but this is knit in super bulky. So this is the Mabel Chicken by Jocelyn Elizabeth. This is crochet, and it is up to 29 yards of super bulky. This is a paid for pattern, but this is so cute. So this is like, you know, kind of in the vein of those emotional support chickens. It's a little bit smaller than the emotional support chicken, but this is just a cute little plushie. It is just looks like it would be so soft and delicate and fun to squish. And depending on how much yarn you have, you could potentially make 1 or 3 or 7, or, you know, depends on how much yarn, but you could at least definitely get 1. So this is so cute. I think it's adorable. You could certainly have a little bit of contrast yarn for the beak and the little thingy on the head and their eyes. But if you don't, I mean, you could probably still make it work. So yeah, super cute, called the Mabel Chicken by Jocelyn Elizabeth. Okay. So another mitten pattern, this is called the No Limits by Svetlana Volkova. This is a knitting pattern in an Aran weight yarn up to 160 yards for the largest size. So they have anywhere from 2 extra small to 4 extra large. There's a ton of sizes in here. It is a paid for pattern, but I just love the classic silhouette of this pattern. You know, it's very simple. There's no ribbing on it. It's like very much just like a simple, straightforward pattern. So super cute. They obviously have a ton of sizes on here. So, you know, you have a lot of options if you decide to purchase this. Yeah, I don't know. Really nice. Okay, so keeping in the theme of the like wheat stock designs that I'm apparently in love with this season, these are the Wild Grown Fingerless Mitts by Brittany Myers. This is a super bulky pattern up to 85 yards. There's 2 sizes, small and large. It is a paid for pattern. I really love the texture on this. We're obviously still in the wheat stock era of my life. These are very large and bulky, so I will say, like, this is for somebody who lives somewhere that, you know, they really need some warmth on their hands, but also really fun. Maybe there's somebody who likes like statement pieces or something like that. This would be a really fun way to use like a really cool yarn, like a Malabriga Rasta or something that has a lot of color play in it. So Also, like Pearl Soho's Gentle Giant has a lot of color play that you could use. So yeah, that's a really fun option out there as well. Like I said, super bulky. Yeah. Okay. Another headband. This is called the Woven Cable Headband by Priscilla Uloho. This is a knitting pattern in an Aran weight yarn, up to 100 yards. It looks like there's only one size available, but my guess just from looking at it is you could probably adjust it if you needed it to with more or less yarn. It's obviously an all-over cable pattern with some garter stitch edging. Very straightforward, nothing super fancy about this, but like a really pretty piece. I would assume that you graft the edges together at the end based on the fact that the edge down here is shown as being, open, or I guess not on held stitches. So my assumption is that you sew it together at the end or something like that. Maybe you graft it, I don't know, but it doesn't look like the stitches are on hold. So anyway, you need to get the pattern to know for sure. Anyway, so this pattern is available for free. So, oh yeah, she says right here, lovely knitted headband, knitted flat and seamed. So it's knit flat and then it's seamed. So pretty straightforward, really not a lot to it. It's a free pattern. It's got all over cables. It's beautiful. Up to 100 yards of Aran weight yarn. If you have more or less, you could certainly customize the size, as long as you know the circumference of your gift receiver's head. Another plushie, these are the cute cat plushies by Handmade by Annie. This is a crochet project, and this is anywhere from 60 to 80 yards. This is super bulky. These are adorable. I think I saw these and I was like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. They're very simple. It's basically like a giant ball with some little points for ears, some little tufts for feet, and then a tail. So it looks much more complicated than it probably is. Like, it looks just adorable. So you could omit the eyes. You could do a contrast yarn for the eyes. Same thing with the nose and the whiskers. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was cute and definitely like a very quick gift knit for somebody, especially if they love cats. So yeah, she says it's a 2-in-1 crochet pattern. In this pattern, I show you how to create solid and spotted color loaf cats in 14 different color variations. So there you go. It is a paid for pattern, but obviously she's got a lot of information in there for you. And it's only up to 80 yards of super bulky, so this thing is going to go super fast. All right, we're nearing the end here. So we looked at the very simple mittens that we were just seeing a minute ago. This is another option. These are called the Ultimate Mittens by Pearl Soho. These are in an Aran weight yarn. Now these ones are very similar to the ones we just saw. I'm including these because these ones are available for free. So they obviously have several sizes up to 165 yards. But these are, a little different. They have a little bit of a pointed top. But, for the most part, they're pretty similar to the ones we looked at. So if you're looking for something that's more of a free pattern and you want it in an Aran weight yarn, then consider Pearl Soho. Like I've said, they're a great resource. These Nola mitts are a slightly thicker weight yarn, so you would just need to make sure you have the right yarn specified. Okay, another sort of headband thing. This is the Serenity headband by Geneva Vasquez. This is a super bulky pattern. Now, this is a knit pattern. Obviously, a lot of a very thick textured headband. This is going to be an opportunity to showcase some yarn, but also very thick. So just be aware that, this is something that's going to be very warm. Keep that in mind. Super bulky yarn up to 58 yards. It is a paid for pattern, and I think that it's a fun little piece. I'm trying to see if she says how it's knit. Well, it does say that the pattern includes written instructions for 5 weights. So you actually have the opportunity to get several weights and several knit patterns out of one purchased pattern. So that's amazing as well. It's a great value. But it doesn't say if this is knit in the round or if it's knit and then seamed. So I don't know, it's just something to keep in mind, but really a nice pattern. Okay, the last thing here is the giving hat. This is a very straightforward hat pattern by Pearl Soho. Again, it's available for free. They have multiple sizes, anywhere from baby up to the adult medium large, up to 195 yards of bulky weight. Now, if you're doing the bulky weight and you're trying to use just one skein, more than likely you're going to be on the lower end of the hat sizes. So it's something to keep in mind. Depends on your yarn, depends on your bulky weight yarn and the yardage included, but I found that most bulky weights are not 100-gram skeins. A lot of times they're 150-gram skeins because of the yardage. So it just depends on the type of yarn you're using, the type of yarn you have. That's going to dictate like which sizes you can get. But if you're looking for a very simple pattern, a very simple hat pattern in a bulky weight yarn, this is a great option. And again, it's free. So this is a great free option for you. Okay, friends, that is it. I can't believe it. We made it through. This is super long. We will see how we edit this down. Maybe we'll break it into parts because there's a lot here. And yeah, I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this. Please let me know if you have any good suggestions, any patterns that are your tried and true for holiday knits, whether it's one skein or not. I'd love to hear any feedback. And let us know if you try any of them or if you're going to try any of them. I'd love to hear about it. So thank you for sticking with us. I know this was a long one. So I appreciate it. But yeah, we'll talk soon. I'm losing my voice. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk, so I'm going to end it. But thank you and good luck with your holiday knits.